remember last year, maybe it was April last year, on the same weekend, there was a trans protest at which people were saying, "Hang J.K. Rowling and kill the witches," or whatever. And at the same time, there was a protest against Israel, against the Jewish state, at which people were carrying bloodied dolls in shrouds. And I remember seeing these two protests and thinking, right, we've gone backwards because it is now acceptable again, like it was in the medieval times, to call for the death of witches and to call Jews the killers of children. And the marriage of those two things, I think, is incredibly a depressing analysis of our times, I think.
It is, and it's so my view is like the reason Zionism and feminism should be linked, and I'm very tempted to sort of just go out there and say, if you're a true Zionism is feminism. I mean, Zionism is anything that's good, basically. And that sounds facetious, but it's essentially what Alana Newhouse wrote in her essay in Tablet the other day. I mean, Zionism is a program. Okay, there are problems with Israel, obviously. Sometimes I go to Israel and I'm like, some of you guys are assholes. Why am I devoting my life to defending you? But then, of course, because it's the right thing to do. And some of them are great, obviously, including my family. Um, but if you believe in things like self-determination, autonomy, and freedom for people, including those hated people, i.e., women and Jews, who have been the most oppressed, literally, not the bullshit way we use it now to this, in Britain, but really oppressed, throughout history. Well, we know it's women and Jews. I mean, so in a way, it's like if you're willing to extend your belief, yeah, that basically people deserve to live their lives without being constantly kind of constrained and mocked in fear of violence, then it really should be commutable. And I think a lot of people think I'm going way too far when I say that Bonnie Blue is a sign of the health of our society rather than, people really cannot get on board. It's too much for everyone. But my reasoning isn't that what Bonnie Blue is doing is good. I don't care I mean, to be honest, I don't think it's a moral question. It's all consensual. It's not illegal. She's making money out of it. She's happy with it. They're happy with it. We may say it's terrible, and it probably is. I mean, I'd hate to do it myself. I'd hate anyone I know to do it or any child of mine. But to have a society where Bonnie Blue can operate, where you can have someone who's such a folk devil who can operate on the most screamingly shocking, offensive boundary of female sexual behavior, and get away with it without being imprisoned, having her assets stripped, having laws changed to prevent her type from ever doing it again, stoned to death in the street. I think it's amazing, because she's so offensive. In fact, it's the fact that she's so offensive that is amazing that she can sort of survive. And I'm not, and people, "Oh, you want to return to the Ladette culture and all that." I mean, I don't care. If you wanna do Ladette culture, do Ladette culture. I'm not putting a moral, point on anyone's sexual decisions, and that's my point. I think I think Israeli Jews have the right to determine, um, how they opt in or opt out of well, of they get a right to have lives as well, which are free from violence, and they can live those lives however they want. And I think, young women in our culture, they are also cognizant people who can make decisions. And some of them opt in to a period of what we call very pearl clutchingly unhealthy sex. And then they decide they don't like it or they experience some trauma from it and life goes on, although, they've learned some lessons and they regret it or people have been bad to them, or they choose to not do that at all. And having come through that system myself, I was really in it in my whole of my 20s. I was one of the only ones, right? Most people opt out. You can opt in, you can opt out. You can do it sometimes you don't. Young women are also people with brains and they can make decisions. And the narrative is just incredibly really infantilizing when you think about it. It's that there can only be we have to constantly police the degree to which women's sexual choices are healthy or unhealthy. And I'm sick of it. Why? We're wasting our time. There's such great stuff to be gained from letting women and women letting themselves just lean in to their appetites, whether and promiscuity. And I use that word because it's so threatening to people. It doesn't have to be sexual promiscuity. It can be promiscuity. You want many different, ways of making money. Might be interests. It might be friends. It might be trips. It might be anything. You might want money, sex, and power, just like men have always wanted. And why would you think that men have always wanted it for like false consciousness reasons? Women must only want it because they're trying to be like men. No, those things are guiding human drives, and women are humans too, just like Jews are humans too.